I'm Yuri Rodriguez, and I'm the first affirmative. I believe that the U.S. should pursue all policies that expand oil exploration and development. If we pursue all exploration of oil, we will create jobs, create revenue, decrease dependency on foreign oil, and lower gas prices. Global oil prices tend to move together, and developments anywhere in the oil market can affect oil prices everywhere. Despite developments in the United States, global oil consumption is at an all-time high. So basically, if we produce more oil on our own terms, it'll affect the whole global market, reducing gas prices. Right now, the U.S. is spending a lot of money importing crude oil. Despite the decline in net import volumes, the cost of net imports has increased due to rising oil prices. The aggregate national cost of oil imports is a function of the volume of oil imported and the price of oil. The United States spent about $327 billion of net oil imports in 2011. Being a net importer of a particular good is not necessarily negative for an economy, but greater national oil import dependence can amplify the negative economic impacts of oil if oil increases. It is also preventing a large amount of direct and indirect jobs to be made. We aren't drilling in parts of the U.S. that no one really visits, and those are vital to the United States if they want to fix their problems. By drilling in the Arctic National Wildlife Reserve, they are able to create jobs and revenue. On the website article ANWR.org, the Geological Survey and Congressional Research Service say 95% likely that there is 15.6 billion barrels of oil beneath ANWR, which today's prices and technology, 60% of that is recoverable. At $135 a barrel, that represents $1.3 trillion that we could not have to send to Iran, Russia, and Saudi Arabia, and Venezuela. It means lower prices and reduced risks of oil spills from tankers carrying foreign crude oil. It represents another $400 billion in state and federal royalties and corporate income taxes, plus billions in lease revenue, plus thousands of direct and indirect jobs, in addition to numerous jobs created when the $1.7 trillion total is invested back into the United States. We need to remove the bans on offshore drilling to help decrease our dependency on foreign oil. It's an outdated ban. It's completely ridiculous that we are foregoing any sources of oil with gas prices as high as they are, especially when these sources would simultaneously decrease our own dependence on foreign oil. By 2015, Chevron expects deep water wells to account for 1/4 of offshore oil production versus 9% today. The U.S. must recognize this potential and tap into it by lifting its ban on offshore drilling. By drilling in the ANWR, there is really no disadvantage considering that they would only drill on a small area, not the whole area. The ANWR is the size of South Carolina. Its narrow coastal plain is frozen and windswept most of the year. Wildlife will still flourish amid drilling and production in other Arctic regions, and will do so near the ANWR facilities if they are made. The Inuits who live there know this and support drilling on a ratio of 8:1. The Gwitch Indians who oppose drilling live hundreds of miles away from the proposed locations and have leased and drilled nearly all their own tribal lands, including their own migratory routes. So basically it bothers no one besides extreme environmentalists, and frankly it's not worth saving. There have also been arguments with the state, namely U.S. Senator Frank Murkowski, who say that it's not worth saving as pristine. Murkowski is quoted in 2004 having said, "It's flat, it's unattractive, and not pristine." We should also open up offshore drilling. Despite the enormous economic and security benefits of offshore drilling, many offshore resources, including energy-rich areas like the Eastern Gulf and Arctic, remain off limits or are subject to regulatory barriers. The moratorium instated after the tragic Deepwater Horizon incident resulted in slow rates of permitting the handicap the industry and stalled America's economic recovery. Alternatively, new studies that aligning permitting rates with the industry's capacity would generate 44 billion in US GDP, reducing the amount we send to foreign governments by 15 million and create 190,000 new jobs by 2013.
We lost it.